Did he say worldwide? Worldwide? I think that's what he said. Worldwide. Is that even the right term? Wide? I mean, because the Earth's round. Like, so I don't think wide's the, what would it be? The whole round world. Welcome in on this Wednesday into the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Say it with me. Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team. They are your home team at Farm Bureau Insurance all across the great state of Mississippi. Your hometown heroes, that's your local Farm Bureau Insurance agents in all 82 counties. I'm Matt. Beaver is here. You're here. We got the whole gang, so we can have a show. Me, Beav, and Sven, and the rest of everybody are here on this Wednesday. We can get into anything you want to get into. It's cool with me. Comment on the live stream, text me, or call me, and I will give you those numbers. I will tell you again, if you're in a position you ever forget the number or need it, you can just pull up, the Facebook page or over there on X or YouTube. It's streaming over there too. Just look me up, Radio Wyatt, and you'll see on the bottom of the screen there, it scrolls across. Here it is, though. Text me on the Country Pleasing text line, 885-3776, 601 number. Call me on the Junction phone, the all-new Junction phone line, Junction delis across the state, fueled by Prince Oil Company. Number to call, 897-1059. Got it? 897-1059. Hail State, says Sven, all the way in Berlin, Germany. He said, Hail State, everyone. Let's look forward to our first SEC win in 2 years. Texas should be a lock. Wow. Now, how about that confidence on a Wednesday? Sven, a serious question. I want an honest answer. Is this your way of like saying something that's sort of like a hot take for attention, or do you really believe it? I've never known Sven to be a hot take guy. Do you just have a feeling? Look, I'm going to be honest with you. I kind of have a feeling too. For whatever that's worth. And I talked to somebody last night. Well, we live, proximity, not too far from each other, actually on other ends of the same neighborhood. We just don't see them very much, and we happen to be in the same place. And the woman said to me, hey, I think we're going to beat Texas. I said, really? She goes, I don't know how to explain it. I just have a feeling. I talked to another guy at the same spot last night. He goes, I feel pretty good about it. It's at home. It's been a while. It seems like State's due. They've been playing better. I think they're going to win. And I keep going, Texas is loaded with draft picks on defense. You know that, right? Well, we shall see. I tell you this, though. Sven sure is confident. He's on the YouTube live stream. Here's Jared on Facebook, and he said, what's up, Matt? What up? Jared, not much. Not much. I'm in an okay mood today. What does that even mean? I'm in a pretty good mood today. Yeah. My future is secure. My eternity is secure. So I got a lot of peace because of that. Really, the only non-peace in my life is all because of me. It's my fault. But, yeah, I mean, I almost ruined an entire roll of film in developing this morning. I'm a little bummed about that because it cost me like $7 for that roll of film. But I think I can salvage it. And, but other than that, it's been a pretty good day. That's what's up. Sven says, if we score 20 points, we win. There it is. There's the benchmark. Draw the line. 20 points, you put 21 on the board, you win the ball game, he says. Chris on the old X, formerly Twitter, just gave us a Hail State with 2 exclamation points. Jared said, I'd money line us against Texas. I don't know what that means. I need a translation in English, Jared, for us non-gamblers. What does that even mean? Help me. Help me. And then Sven backed it up and said, listen, Texas offensive coordinator head coach Steve Sarkisian has the second worst offense in the SEC. He has the worst quarterback in the SEC, he says. They can't score 20-plus in any SEC game, and says, and my Mississippi State Bulldogs will score at least 30. So there it is. So he's saying 30-17 would be a blowout. That would be a blowout if that happens. That'd be a monumental win. You know, I don't know. I'm iffy. I know the struggles. Defenses have been able to confuse him, and, you know, there's been some missed throws here and there. And then every now and then, like you watch the Oklahoma game, and Arch Manning will make a few plays. You go, wow, look at that throw. No wonder they like him. You know, no wonder they think there's some upside. But so you just, it's like it's, I don't know. You watch him, and part of me thinks, okay, at some point, he's going to get it, and the lid's going to come off that offense for them. I just hope it's not this weekend. That's what I hope. Unnamed texter starts us off today on the Country Pleasing text line. I just opened a brand new package of the original smoked sausage flavor. I tell you what, though, I was this morning, it's one of those deals you kind of wake up with, getting cooler outside, so you wake up with not a cold, but kind of foggy headed, like like you're getting a cold. I kind of woke up that way. And when I get that way, I always wake up craving the hot sausages that they have. You know, jalapeno and cheddar is pretty good. Jalapeno and pineapple is even hotter. Love it. And they even have a habanero flavor like you can get if you go to the store in Florence at Country Meat Packers. That's what I needed this morning. I need that hot stuff in the morning to, you know, loosen everything up. Get a little sweat going on top of your head first thing out of the bed. That's what you need first thing in the morning. Anyway, unnamed texter said, just heard on the other show before you, Texas's number one defensive back is out. Okay, well, get into people's depth. I guess you never really know. We shall see. Bama fan said, I don't know about your weather up in Tupelo, but down here in Jackson, it's beautiful. Oh, yeah. No, gorgeous in the northern part of the state. Downright cold. Now, you know, some people who are cold natured, wait, no, is that the other way? Hot natured, would not accuse it of being cold. They say it's perfect. I went out today, though, this morning before the sun came up with Jasper, the wonder dog, and we both looked at each other like, you cold? I'm like, yeah, I'm cold. And he was like, let me get this done real quick. We'll go back in. I was like, thanks, because I do not feel like waiting on you out here today. Bama fan also said, Matt, did you see when Bama's cornerback intercepted a pass, went 99 yards, someone sent video 3 miles away from the stadium and could hear the fans. Also, go to YouTube, pull up the British couple that went to the game. It's funny. Oh, I bet. Okay, thanks for the heads up on that. I love that kind of stuff. When people from other countries come and attend their first college football game, seeing those reactions. I'm going to look that one up. I didn't see the 3 mile deal. Where was he? Northport? What was he, across the river? I'm trying to think, 3 miles, what direction? Because, Bryant Denny in Tuscaloosa does not necessarily like sit up on a hill or anything. I mean, it's just kind of right there on University. It's really kind of on the edge of their campus, isn't it? Pretty much. I mean, that's the way I see it. It's not like it's up on a hill. You could be, I bet, all the way down University going, I'm thinking east of there, where it runs into McFarland. Isn't that the name of it? McFarland Boulevard? You'd be almost 3 miles from the stadium, wouldn't you? So I wouldn't be surprised if you could hear it from there. Nick texted the show, said State could play Hartfield and it wouldn't be a lock. I'm old enough to remember Maine. See, okay, Nick, listen, that is a good point. There's some of us that we're always looking at everything through the historical context lens. And maybe it's just those of us of a certain age. See, I can remember it too. I can remember Maine also. Like, that just don't count anything as a win, right? Don't count anything as a win and nothing as a lock. Is that how we do it? I'm comfortable going through life that way myself, Nick, just like you. All right. We got headlines coming up, and there is one that I'm interested to talk to you about, because I wondered who was going to get popped with that faking an injury rule first, and it surprised me actually who the first one was. So we got headlines coming up, more of your texts, more of your comments. Right now, over to the phone, the Junction phone line, fueled by Prince Oil Company. They've been fueling Central Mississippi since 1960. You pull up to the pump at Prince Oil, they put a little fuel in your gas tank, go inside of the Junction Deli, fuel in your belly. On line one of the Junction phone, chomp chomp, it's Gator Matt. What's up, Matt?
I thought that might be the lane train.
Wait.
Hey,
Headed to Gainesville?
Headed south. Do you have Shane on today? I heard he was coming on a bunch of shows.
No, he's not coming on this one. I got to do Shane's podcast with him last week, and Matt,
I saw that.
I just sort of bowed out of the whole interview carousel that everybody was on. I was on it there for a while, but sometimes when a guy calls who you grew up watching and kind of looked up to, I actually looked forward to doing an interview with him, and so I was on him. But I don't do a ton of interviews on my show. I very seldom do one. I don't have him scheduled to come on, but I probably should. Anyway, what were you saying?
Well, he's catching a ton of heat for his opinion on the two jobs. Ole Miss. I think people fail to realize is that he grew up in Mississippi. He was an Ole Miss. He begged his parents.
Yeah.
When he begged his parents to transfer to Ole Miss when he wasn't playing at first. Before, So look, he's an Ole Miss fan, but his opinion on are the two jobs comparable? Apparently ruffled a lot of feathers.
Well, what did he say about it?
You were talking about
Matt? What did he say about the two jobs?
Well, there's no comparison between the two programs.
Okay.
There's just not.
Wait, that's what he said. That's what Shane said.
That's what he said. Well, that's what I believe too. I mean, there's just not. There's not really. I mean, I think Ole Miss has done great with him. I mean, now has Ole Miss been a better program the last 5-6 years?
Yeah.
And why is that? Because Lane's been the coach.
Huh.
But whatever. But look, the reason why I called, you were talking about British people going to their first test. Look, Matt, I went to the Texas-Florida game. I had really good seats, and it was packed. It was about as loud as you get. I was sitting next to a guy from Maine who had never been to an SEC football game in his life. And he was just, you can imagine how. Now, he said he had gone to Gillette Stadium a few times to see some Patriot games, but he said that clearly there's no, just the atmosphere of the college was just, he was overwhelmed. So anyway, I just thought that was interesting. I thought I'd chime in. The whole, I don't know what your opinion is. I know, I wouldn't blame Lane if he stays.
Yeah.
But Matt, you wouldn't blame him either if he left. We'll talk to y'all later, okay?
Thanks, Matt. Appreciate the call. I enjoyed my trip to Gainesville this past week. I didn't talk much about it, I guess, the last 2 days, the non-football personal stuff. But I enjoyed it. It's my first time to ever lay eyes on University of Florida campus, to ever, be at a football game there. It's, what that says about the old schedule rotation is another rant for another day. I've done that before. But anyway, enjoyed seeing the campus, palm trees on campus, lots of Spanish moss on live oaks in cool spots on campus, which I it was a very, parts of that campus, you view it, if you were colorblind and you couldn't see the orange and blue, you would think you were on LSU's campus with all the live oaks and the Spanish moss and everything. It was really, and even right around the stadium, and the stadium itself. I will be honest, I was a little surprised at how sort of retro and, I mean, old is the right word. It carries a negative connotation. I don't necessarily mean it in a super negative way, but I was a little surprised by how retro and old the stadium was there. But still, it was awesome. And kind of a late arriving crowd. It was not really full at kickoff, but, by the end of the first quarter, it was full. It was weird. I enjoyed that. Yeah, so on the program thing, I need to go see what Shane said about it. Matt says Shane said there's no comparison between the two programs. I thought Matt summed it up pretty well. I mean, the last few years, Ole Miss has been a much better team. All the coaching turnover, all the stuff they've gone through there at Florida, versus what Lane Kiffin's doing at Ole Miss and has done. Schedule's not necessarily the same. Now, that's the other thing, too. Like, you look at the teams this year, I know Florida firing the coach. They got the toughest schedule in the country, and everybody pretty much just agrees with that. It's almost unanimous. Whereas, the schedule, it's tough enough. It's an SEC schedule, but, it's one of the lighter in terms of who the opponents are, home and away, one of the lighter SEC schedules this year for Ole Miss, and that can make a difference. But, yeah, I mean, historically, sure, you got multiple national championships in our lifetime. Since the invention of color television at Florida, versus, what you have at Ole Miss. And then, I do get it. Florida is, kind of has a bigger, well, they're in a much larger state. They got a bigger alumni base and group and everything. And so certainly, I guess the right fit, they can get that thing up off the ground. But there's also something to be said for, I mean, the fact of the matter is, you win 10 games in a year like Lane Kiffin has done and is doing at Ole Miss. Do that for a decade, and they'll build you a statue and give you, and pay your mortgage. They'll just roll out the red carpet, do whatever you want. And, at Florida, as we have seen, you win 8 or 9 games there often enough, and they're going to, throw a brick through your window and pack your bags for you. So there's lots of things to consider there for sure. So it's really, I would think, on a practical level, like if you were looking at it practically, and I'm not saying that most coaches do, but if you were, it kind of just comes down to, what do you want to do? Do you want to live in a smaller town, in a smaller state with some elbow room and kind of and the expectation might be a little lower, 8, 9 games, but the chance to win 10, they got plenty of they can buy plenty of players at Ole Miss. They already have shown that, and they can pay him plenty of money. Do you want to do that and sometimes be in the playoffs, sometimes maybe be on the outside looking in, or do you want to go to a place that is a challenge like Florida, where if you do well, you're challenging the playing the championship game, and where the expectation is that you're going to win a national championship, and if you don't soon enough, we'll try somebody else. You know what I mean? Like, it really comes down to just, what do you want to do? Is that right? So we got somebody on the line, on the Junction phone line, named Rainbow. All right, Rainbow, you have the floor. What's up?
That's me, man. 2 quick questions. When you were in the middle of nowhere taking calls the other day, did you need any extra technology besides your MacBook and your phone? And the other quick question is, where's the talk about Kromenhoek? I hadn't heard anything about him in the last 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So that's my questions, and I'll let you answer them. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, Rainbow. No, I didn't need extra technology. I mean, quite literally. I was on the side of a road, and for 2 hours I saw 3 other cars go by, and that was it, 1 buzzard. It was outstanding. I mean, I could have stayed there. Loved it. Railroad track, did have a train come through afterwards. Thankfully, it didn't come through while I was on the air. But all I had was a laptop with the battery charged, my iPhone from C Spire with 5G coverage. No joke. Took a screenshot. I can prove it. And, yeah. Oh, and a little set of I'm old school, so I have the plug-in earbuds. Like it plugs into my phone and has a cable. I didn't do the wireless ones. I'm not new school enough for that yet, I guess. And then, what was his other question? What was his other question? I've drawn a blank on Rainbow's other question.
Where's 𝐷𝐸𝐬𝐬𝐢𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬
Hey, Beef, how's that for me pulling you into the show? Chrome and Hawk. Yeah, I mean, it would seem that the roles are this. Your backup, if Chapin gets hurt and can't start and play every snap of a game, then Chrome and Hawk's going to have that role, I think. Probably. But we may have gotten to the point in the year where a lot of extra snaps are going to go maybe now to Taylor. But the thing is, since the beginning of the year, they've already been using Kamario Taylor in the short yardage and goal line stuff and leverage plays, third and short, fourth and short. So he may have passed him for all I know. I don't know. It's a different kind of setup. I know that for sure. All right, just getting started with y'all here on this Wednesday. Stick around.
At C-Spire, we've never waited on.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. Local agents in all 82 counties. So here's what that means. You have that fender bender, hopefully you don't, but let's say you do at an odd time. Something goes on. It's Saturday night at 11 p.m. You don't have to wait until Monday morning to call some 800 number and talk to someone 3 states away. You've got your agent's phone number right there on your phone because you go to church with him. Your kids go to school together. He lives right down the road. You see each other at the ball games on Friday nights. So it's personal with your local Farm Bureau insurance agent in all 82 counties in this entire state. And if anything does arise and you need to, run it up the chain or up the flagpole, the home offices for Farm Bureau Insurance are in Jackson, Mississippi. It's right here in the state of Mississippi. It doesn't get more local than and personal, the service that you get with Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. I can't recommend them highly enough. And if you haven't, recently, let them give you a quote. Home, life, auto. It's Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Well, look at what we have here. Christmas come early. Boom. Little green onion country pleasing. That's not all. Little original smoked sausage flavor. That's not all. Jalapeno and cheddar. It has to be one of my favorite, just judging by how much of that stuff I eat. Oh, can't forget. Andouille. Don't be saying andouille, it's andouille. And last, but not least, pork and pineapple, bun size, 3 links, bun size. Look at that right there. Be careful. Come on with it. It's mine. Come here, jalapeno. Oh, that's all mine. Country pleasing sausage. We'll be right back after this message from C-Spire. My name is Matt Wyatt. I host the Matt Wyatt radio show out of my home using C-Spire fiber
And when we hit the road as a family, Matt's show goes with us, thanks to C Spire Wireless.
Its ultra-reliable nationwide network lets me broadcast live from anywhere.
And never miss a moment that matters.
Connecting you to what inspires you most on C Spire's blazing fast 5G network. And right now, get your choice of free phone. That's customer inspired. That's C Spire.
Y'all like coffee? I know you do. Check it out. Little High Point Roasters from New Albany, Mississippi. That is the breakfast blend. It's a whole bean. And if you notice, that's how much I've had already. Brazil Oberon. Not Orgeron or Orgeron, you LSU. No, Brazil Oberon. That ain't all. We got that. What flavor is that? Papua New
Conversation and tell him what you think right now on the Zone 1059 and worldwide at thezone1059.com.
Back with you. I'm Matt in the Bureau. A lot to get to. Old Tackle commented on YouTube and said Texas has alternated this season between playing well in one game and playing poorly in the next. Guess where the cycle is this week? I don't know. Who did play last week? They're 5-2 and they're 2-1 in the SEC. They told us at the beginning of the year they were number one. Were they? Okay, I see. So they won. They've won 2 in a row. They beat Oklahoma, and defense kind of shut them down. And then they went to Kentucky and won last week, 16-13. Ugly game. UGLY, as sometimes Neil Price is known to quote. UGLY, you ain't got no alibi. My man. Jared explaining to me, he said he was doing the money line. And he said money line means betting on us to win straight up. Okay. So in other words, who gives a flip what the quote-unquote spread is on the game, right? You're just saying, I don't care. State's going to win the game. Okay. Got it. So Jared is in too. That makes 3. Sven, Jared, and me. No, that makes 5, including the 2 people that I saw at Reed's department store in downtown Tupelo last night. 2 of them, separate. Hey, I got a good feeling. That's what they said. You know how those feelings go. Bama fan texted the show in the Country Pleasin' text line. Country Pleasin' sausage on grocery store shelves all around the Southeast, made right here in Mississippi at Country Meat Packers on Highway 49 in Florence. And if you're within driving distance, you've got to go. Trust me. Go to the all-new butcher market there at Country Meat Packers. You will not be disappointed. You ain't going to believe it. If you haven't been there, you're not going to believe it when you see it. Trust me. In fact, go at lunchtime, get a plate lunch, and color me jealous. Bama fan says, so there is comparison. He says, Ole Miss fans show up and fill the stadium in the second quarter, and you're saying Florida fans did something like that. Yeah, that's kind of how it looked to me. I don't know why, but it just seemed like before the kickoff, right before kickoff, I told Neil, I said, well, it's not a sellout, is it? And then later he's like, well, it's supposed to be. And well, by the end of the first quarter, it looked like a sellout. I don't know. They just couldn't get in there. They didn't want to get in there early. I don't know what it was. But at one point it filled up, just not at the beginning of the game. Hey, and Scott, I got your text. I am going to click that and give it a quick read here in just a bit. Rebel Godfather texted us, and he said, Kiffin isn't going to Florida. Kiffin isn't going to Florida, and that's according to Rebel Godfather on the Country Pleasin' text line. Same subject, similar name, but different. Over to the Junction phone line. Junction delis all across the state of Mississippi. Fuel for your belly at the Junction Deli. Fueled by Prince Oil Company. On line 1 of the Junction phone, it is Realistic Rebel 1961. Hey, Realistic Rebel 1961, welcome to the show. What's up?
Thank you, Matt White. You got him. First of all, love the Junction.
Yes,
great
sir.
products, great prices, great people. Love the junction. All right, so Matt, realistic Rebel. Under Kiffin, 9-3, 10-2 is a very realistic expectation. Yes, we have money. We buy players. This is the NFL, except you don't have the freaking salary cap. So it's
That's right.
more of the Wild Wild West than the NFL is.
That's right.
Right?
Right.
And one-year contracts, basically. It's a beautiful thing for schools like Ole Miss and State to be able to compete with the big boys as long as we have the alumni
Yeah, if you can,
willing to write.
if you can raise the money, that's right.
That's it. All right. So that being said, I don't really have an opinion on whether Kiffin should go or should not, whether he will or he won't. But I do have an opinion on how Keith Carter should handle it.
Okay.
Which is to sit Lane Kiffin down today if it hadn't already happened and say, Lane, we want you here. We're willing to give you a little bump above, $9 million? Okay, we'll give you a little bump. But if you're expecting some extortion through that agent, that racketeer, that mobster up in Memphis, Jimmy Sexton, then you know what? Don't get me started, Matt. I'm a nice guy, but I got a tough side to me. And that's the that's the side that Lane Kiffin would see. We're not going to have a repeat of the mess 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Lane, you either with us or you ain't. And I need to know now.
Mm-hmm.
Which is it? Are you with us or you ain't? And if you ain't, then I tell you what, buddy, I got news for you. You might not be coaching this team through the end of the year. That's how I would play this if I was Keith Carter. I just don't think you can allow what happened 2 years ago to happen again with this situation. If you're not happy here, if you think you can do better, if there's a pretty girl at the dance, hit the road, Jack.
Yeah.
Okay? Hit the road, because Tommy Tuberville proved you can win at Ole Miss. Houston up until he quit working, and did his horse and daughters and wife thing. Proved you can win at Ole Miss. Even Cutcliffe won at Ole Miss. Hugh Freeze won at Ole Miss. Good coaches can win at Ole Miss.
Yeah.
So, Lane, we love you. We want you to be here. But we're not going to allow you to and your agent to do this to us again.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? That's how I feel about it.
I think it's a great call.
I'm realistic about, are you going to be competing for the national championship year in and year out? No. If you couldn't get that team last year into the playoffs, you might not ever get in the playoffs. Man, that team was good.
Yeah.
And somehow they lost 3 games. I mean, we are Ole Miss. But bottom line is, you cannot allow the tail to wag the dog if you're Keith Carter.
Well,
thanks for letting me share, buddy.
Yeah, great call. Thank you. Call me anytime. And man, I'm in lockstep with you. I have the same mindset. And I think you and I both too, realistic Rebel, are intelligent enough to also flip that coin over and consider what's on the other side, and devil's advocate ourselves in our own head, so that we're thinking about all of it, going, okay, they also, those same agents also represent just about everybody else. And I think that's part of the problem. It's part of the reason that, in spite of the fact that you're in the pay-for-play era where you must pay players lots of money to play for you. If you don't, they will play for someone else, and they'll beat you, right? And so in spite of that being the reality, you still have schools out here somehow feeling as though they have no choice but to give $8 and $9 and $10 million contracts to coaches with $100 million buyouts. And they still feel they have to do that, in spite of the fact that you're in an era where it really shouldn't call for that fiscally. Is that the right word? No, it's responsibly. But I think the part of the problem is, you have one agent. You have so many administrators, including ADs, that are convinced that I must kiss the ring and polish the shoes of that agent, because not only is he, representing the guy we have, he's probably representing anybody we might want. Okay. And as soon as we go out here and fail to win a press conference for our fan base, they'll show up with pitchforks and they'll have me on the street the next day. And I'm afraid that's the Chicken Little perspective of a lot of administrators out there. When Realistic Rebel, I agree with you. You know, my respect goes to an athletics director and an administration that says, wait a minute. We're just not doing it. 5-10 years ago, it was different. Okay, it was different. We weren't doing slicing off 20 to 25 million right off the top just in revenue share, let alone just basically adding that on top of the other 20, 30, 40 million we're having to bleed our alumni for to be able to fund the roster in the first place, which is what we're doing now. So it just doesn't make any. Yeah, you can accuse us of being like a little. You can accuse us of being like a little NBA, where our players are going to be making a lot more money than our coaches are. But to some degree, there's got to be some realism in there. You know, the other side of it, too, you know, back on different sides of this coin, is at a place like Ole Miss, you're right, you do already have the coach there who's, you know, threatening 10 wins a year every year and is threatening the college football playoff every year. You already have it. And so we could take the agent stuff out of it and just go, look, you got somebody that you bad want to keep if at all possible. Now, when it gets to the point of going, I guess the only thing I would disagree with, Realistic Rebel, is it's a little too far to say, hey, you tell me if you're in or you're out, and if you're out, get out. That's probably, again, realistically, it probably takes it a little too far. But I totally get what you're saying is, man, I'm not trying to put the screws to you, and I understand this stuff takes time, but it's a whole different ballgame now. Again, this is not 2015. It's a whole different ballgame now. And the sooner you know, and the sooner you can let me know, the sooner we can do what we need to do. But, you know, to think that you're going to hold our feet to the fire for the next 2 months, maybe longer if you're a playoff team, nobody can live with that. Let's either come to agreement now or tell me you're looking so that I can go ahead and start making the list. Back with you. What do you think about Realistic Rebels' call and thoughts on that? Let me know. Comments, texts, questions, opinions, and otherwise after this.
This is Jake Mangum, former
After these messages, we'll be right back.
The Junction Delis, convenience redefined, and Prince Oil Company, a match made in heaven. The Junction Deli, fueled by Prince Oil Company. Prince Oil Company has been fueling Central Mississippi since 1960. It's a pretty good little while. Wonderful people. Man, am I ever more tickled that they're a part of the show and I'm a part of their team now. As you know, if you listen to the radio show, I've been to the Junction in several different places around the state. I've bought gas just like you at a lot of places that are fueled by Prince Oil Company, and they are really wonderful people. By the way, that brand spanking new Junction Deli, Chevron, right across the highway from Germantown High School. It's in Canton. We say Gluckstadt. Do you realize they and other Junction Delis, they serve country-pleasing sausage over there on the buffet? They don't get much better than that. The Junction and Prince Oil Company. That's what I'm talking about. We'll be right back after this message from C Spire. My name is Matt Wyatt. I host the Matt Wyatt radio show out of my home using C Spire fiber.
And when we hit the road as a family, Matt's show goes with us, thanks to C Spire Wireless.
Its ultra-reliable nationwide network lets me broadcast live from anywhere.
And never miss a moment that matters.
Connecting you to what inspires you most on C Spire's blazing fast 5G network. And right now, get your choice of free phone. That's customer inspired. That's C Spire.
Welcome to my photography studio downtown Tupelo. Everybody needs a headshot. especially if you're in the professional world, in sales, any sort of customer-related business, outreach business, anything like that. Everybody needs a headshot. Here at my photography studio in Tupelo, we do a lot more than just headshots, but we're kind of focusing on headshots for that very reason, because everybody needs it. Let me show you a little something about it. One thing I'm able to do here is sort of have 2 to 3 different looks in a small space that we can do in a short amount of time. Several different looks and styles of lighting with studio equipment, studio lighting. Some with flash, and a particular look that I've worked on, a constant lighting scenario where you sit down, the lights are already on, you lean in, and we kind of illuminate the whole face. And we get several options in the studio in a short amount of time. Here's 2 priorities for me when I shoot headshots. One is it has to look like you. Okay, none of this fake stuff. The other goal is it's got to look like you at your best. And that's my job as a photographer. And I've got a lot of experience over the years, and I feel really confident I can do that for you. I would love to schedule a session for you here at the studio in downtown Tupelo. I'm above the Reed's Gift Shop, just off of Troy Street, the corner of Troy and Spring. If you can't get to Tupelo, that's okay. Let's talk about it, because we can pack the studio up and come to you if the schedules fit and that sort of thing. I'd love to help you with your headshots. I think everybody needs them. I'm inviting you to please email me, reach out. You can go to my website, mattwyattmedia.com, email address matt@mattwyattmedia.com, and let's talk about your headshot. Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi, local agents in all 82 counties. So here's what that means. You have that fender bender, hopefully you don't, but let's say you do at an odd time. Something goes on. It's Saturday night at 11 p.m. You don't have to wait until Monday morning to call some 800 number and talk to someone 3 states away. You've got your agent's phone number right there on your phone.
Worldwide at thezone1059.com.
All right, back with you. A lot to get to. Long way to go, short time to get there. Overused popular metaphor, but I just used it. Let's see, what does Finn say? He says, and Steve Sarkisian will not be in Austin in 2026. He is 5-18 against top 15 teams as a Texas head coach. He can't see nor evaluate quarterback talent, and he can't scheme a game plan around his quarterback, he says. What's interesting there, Sven, is I have not even thought about that line of thinking with Sarkisian, but I was looking at the other day is it the Dolphins that, and I know they're a mess, but they elevated Quinn Ewers, and there were times in the preseason, some of your mushy-headed media tried their best to, point and snicker and make fun of Quinn Ewers, but then you look up, and after a few preseason outings, he was really playing well. And I don't know. My gut just tells me he's a snap or 2 away from being their starter. They're on a bad team, and, and then when he does, he's probably going to play a lot of football in the NFL. The kid's really good, really talented, and it makes you wonder, man, what happened to him after that injury at Texas? And then the whole Arch thing. But you would think, it seems like the Mannings, and they know QB stuff. They've trusted Arch with Sarkisian, right, Sven? It seems like they would know who ought to coach him. Anyway, enough of that. Let me get back over here to the text line. Rebel Godfather said Kiffin isn't going to Florida. Patches O'Houlihan texted the show, said, man, I believe both Florida and Penn State will hire sitting SEC coaches. Furthermore, neither will announce that person until the end of the season or if the current team doesn't make the playoffs. Well, who would be? So you're saying one of them's going to get Kiffin, but who's going to get who else? Who is it? The guy at Missouri or... That would be weird. Rebel Greg texted the show and said the Florida and Ole Miss jobs are all about the schedule and permanent opponents. It doesn't matter who coaches Florida next year. If they had State's schedule, they're not winning many games. I'm sure Lane will look at that. Well, that's interesting. Who they announce? So Florida, who do they announce as Florida's permanents? They're always going to have Florida State on there. And what, Miami too? John in Rolling Fork. Matt, what are your thoughts on Vitello going to the San Francisco Giants? Well, bye. See you later. That's kind of my thoughts. I'm good for him. You know, I just assume that most guys who coach would love to coach in the pros. So, you know, fine, good. Congrats to Tony Vitello. But my honest thinking, John, is I'm glad he's moving on. I think the college game, you know, from a behavior standpoint, from top teams and players and coaches, was better before him, and it'll be a lot better after him. You know, constant profanity-laced tirades at umpires and opposing dugouts and opposing players and chest-bumping umpires, you know, and all that Bush League stuff. I don't care how good they were. Congrats on winning it all one year. Yeah, I don't care. It's just immature and pitiful, really, and I'm glad he's moving on. I think the SEC, college baseball, all of it was worse for the wear for he and the way, you know, the way he conducted the team, the way he ran the team, because they were so talented and so good there for a couple of years. Frankly, there were a lot of young players and other teams started trying to emulate them. They had a really bad influence. So I don't care how good a coach he is and how many games they won. I'm glad he's leaving. And I think it's just, you know, there's a certain type of individual who, you know, will pull a stunt like that. And that is, you know, the place that you're at doing everything they can and giving you every resource they can possibly scratch up and building you a new stadium. And then you still wait until October and leave. It's just a certain type of individual who continues to pull that kind of stuff. And so I'd say good riddance and enjoy it up there on the West Coast. And I'll probably never see any of your games until you have another postseason run anyway. And long run, new stadium, they get the right kind of individual, Tennessee will be better for it. That's what I think. Joe Mailman says, Matt, does Mrs. Wyatt still not like Missouri in the SEC? They're pretty good, especially with that Lawrence County running back. Yeah, Joe, she just says they shouldn't be in the Southeastern Conference. They don't belong. And they're not Southern. But that's, you know, a reminder, we live in the era where Cal and Stanford play in the Atlantic Coast Conference. Heck, I mean, they'd be closer if they went the other way on the map, on the globe. I mean, they might get to a road game at Boston College quicker by boat going the other way instead of getting on a plane going this way. Stupid. Denzel says, this is going to come out of left field, but I think it's time I get into Beaver's head. The things AI are doing with music, how it's reimagining classic songs into different genres is truly remarkable. Okay. All right. Listen, I hadn't talked to Beaver about this, but I will tell you, Denzel, in the broadcast booth, we were up there hours early before the game down there at Florida, in the swamp this past week, and Neil Price pulled his phone out. He said, Matt, listen to this. Because he and I both have a appetite for classic music, you know, old music. He said, look at this. And he showed me this guy who had taken an old song and AI had turned it into a like an R&B, Motown type of song, and it was really good. I mean, really good. And I was knocked back by it just a little bit. Jason in Flagstaff, Arizona says, C Spire is legit. I still had it when I first started scoping this area out. He's talking about in Arizona years before I moved. And I could listen to your old show in the middle of Oak Creek, 2,000-foot red rock cliffs on either side, and crappy BlackBerry. AT&T, he said, I have now $1,500 phone. Doesn't work unless I hold my mouth right. Great ad, Jason, for C Spire, and I agree with you. They had me going in the middle of nowhere the other day. Now, some comment here, it was about the Kiffin thing, and somebody texted in and said that's not even a realistic comment. If you want to be competitive, you have to play the game. Kiffin is an elite coach and has to be treated that way. If you want to lose him, then talk to him that way. And that was after the call from Realistic Rebel. J-Rock said, Lane Kiffin has done a great job, but I truly believe Keith Carter is more important to Ole Miss. If Kiffin leaves, Carter will bring in a great coach. He's a great AD. I'll tell you that. I agree with that. Carter has done an excellent job as the AD at Ole Miss. Gator Matt said, I heard you knocking Ben Hill Griffin Stadium. Just so you know, he said funding has already been approved for up to $1 billion renovation. Well, it'll be fantastic. I mean, it's big and it's cool. It's a great stadium. What I'm saying, Matt, is the first time that I went there. So my first time to see it, and I didn't expect it to be that aging. You know what I mean? No wonder it's getting a facelift, a modern, influx of $1 billion to update the thing. Because I didn't expect it to be old, but it was old. It was good. Now, I did have a friend who calls radio for another SEC bunch and does some work for them, who texted me, and he said, did the pigeons still roost above the visiting radio booth? And the answer to that is yes. We still had pigeons flying around us. It was pretty cool. I like pigeons. But if you lean over, they have this big trough, okay? If you lean over the press box and look over the edge, there's this big metal trough, like a gutter, that spans the whole length of all the broadcast and press area, and it's a poop catcher. It was full of pigeon droppings and bat guano, and I hope that's all, but it was full of it. And that's so that those people buying those expensive seats right up under the press box don't get on top of the head during a ball game. And I was not knocking it, Gator Matt. Old is not a bad thing. I'm just saying I didn't expect that going in. But otherwise, it's still a great place. Still a great stadium. And it got loud, too. It got loud. Tell you what else, too. When they pulled that weird play on 3rd and 1, instead of giving it to their running back when they were trying to win the game, those boos got awful loud in there, too. They sure did. All right. Hour 1 in the books. Hour 2 coming up in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Back after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back. Yeah. After these messages, we'll be right back.
Well, look at what we have here. Christmas come early. Boom. Little green onion country pleasing. That's not all. Little original smoked sausage flavor. That's not all. Jalapeno and cheddar. It has to be one of my favorite, just judging by how much of that stuff I eat. Oh, can't forget. Andouille. Don't be saying andouille, it's andouille. And last, but not least, pork and pineapple bun size, 3 links bun size. Look at that right there. Be careful. Come on with it. It's mine. Come here, jalapeno. Oh, that's all mine. Country pleasing sausage.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Welcome to my photography studio downtown Tupelo. Everybody needs a headshot, especially if you're in the professional world, in sales, any sort of customer related business, outreach business, anything like that. Everybody needs a headshot. Here at my photography studio in Tupelo, we do a lot more than just headshots, but we're kind of focusing on headshots for that very reason, because everybody needs it. Let me show you a little something about it. One thing I'm able to do here is sort of have 2 to 3 different looks in a small space that we can do in a short amount of time. Several different looks and styles of lighting with studio equipment, studio lighting. Some with flash and a particular look that I've worked on, a constant lighting scenario where you sit down, the lights are already on, you lean in, and we kind of illuminate the whole face. And we get several options in the studio in a short amount of time. Here's 2 priorities for me when I shoot headshots. One is it has to look like you. Okay, none of this fake stuff. The other goal is it's got to look like you at your best. And that's my job as a photographer. And I've got a lot of experience over the years, and I feel really confident I can do that for you. I would love to schedule a session for you here at the studio in downtown Tupelo. I'm above the Reed's Gift Shop, just off of Troy Street, the corner of Troy and Spring. If you can't get to Tupelo, that's okay. Let's talk about it, because we can pack the studio up and come to you if the schedules fit and that sort of thing. I'd love to help you with your headshots. I think everybody needs them. I'm inviting you to please email me, reach out. You can go to my website, mattwhyattmedia.com, email address matt@mattwhyattmedia.com, and let's talk about your headshot.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi, local agents in all 82 counties. So here's what that means. You have that fender bender, hopefully you don't, but let's say you do at an odd time. Something goes on. It's Saturday night at 11 p.m. You don't have to wait until Monday morning to call some 800 number and talk to someone 3 states away. You've got your agent's phone number right there on your phone because you go to church with him. Your kids go to school together. He lives right down the road. You see each other at the ball games on Friday nights. So it's personal with your local Farm Bureau insurance agent in all 82 counties in this entire state. And if anything does arise and you need to, run it up the chain or up the flagpole, the home offices for Farm Bureau Insurance are in Jackson, Mississippi. It's right here in the state of Mississippi. It doesn't get more local than and personal, the service that you get with Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. I can't recommend them highly enough. And if you haven't, recently, let them give you a quote. Home, life, auto. It's Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team.
That's 800-578-1437.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Hey y'all, Matt Wyatt here. Each week on the Mississippi Outdoors Podcast, we talk with the people who live it. Hunters, biologists, game wardens, local celebrities, and storytellers that know Mississippi better than anyone.
Those bass come up there and attack them. You know how mean bass can be there.
You're never going to believe this. Matt Wyatt just talked about your deer on the radio. I said, what did he say? He said, it was Photoshopped. And I said, what?
They don't know anything about hunting. They just have never had that right, that freedom.
Dude, that's us, man. That's what we do. So tune in. Be inspired, and we'll see you outdoors.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Yeah. Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi, local agents in all 82 counties. So here's what that means. You have that fender bender, hopefully you don't, but let's say you do at an odd time. Something goes on. It's Saturday night at 11 p.m.
1059.com.
Ba-da-da-ba-ba. Back with you. I'm Matt. In the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Farm Bureau, go with the home team. They are your home team. Matt Beaver is here. You are here. Lots of text to get to. Carrying over from hour one. A little bit of talk about Kiffin. We had a phone call from Realistic Rebel 1961. And he was like, Keith Carter, sit Coach Kiffin down and say, hey, look, you and your agent are not holding us over the fire like you did that Auburn thing a while back. Ain't happening. The agent deal, man, I tell you. Yeah, it's weird. It's a weird thing, this transition. And anytime you're like transitioning from one era to another, from one stage of life to another, it seems to always be very uncomfortable, right? I mean, it just kind of is, and it's like you have to make some really uncomfortable decisions. And that's the thing to me. I am not against coaches. I'm not anti-coach. I'm right the opposite. Admire the heck out of the good ones. I'm fascinated with their X's and O's knowledge and their recall and then all the other stuff. And, and like head coaches are dealing with all of this organizational stuff that, the rest of us would never touch with a 10-foot pole, and they're still handling all of that, and then roster management and paying them to come. And who do you want to pay? And how much should you pay them? I mean, to come and play for you, all this stuff. Okay, so I'm not anti-coach. I'm just saying, on the practical side of it, when? Let me phrase it as a question. When are we going to begin to see more administrations, that'd be athletics directors and presidents, who in coaching search stuff, they simply say this: listen, we just don't live in an era anymore where it makes financial sense to pay any coach $8 million, $9 million, $10 million a year. Any coach to tag a $60, $80, $100 million buyout over some period of time for him in his contract, simply because his agent is telling us in negotiations that if we want him here, that's what we must do. Well, I'm sorry, we're just not going to be bullied that way anymore because we can't do it. It doesn't make any financial sense anymore when, again, fiscally, that money now has to go to the roster. Right? Right. So, unless you're at a place where there's just no end, it's growing on trees. Where's that? Texas and A&M, and where else? Not everywhere. And just like anything else, if you're just to be keeping up with the Joneses, if you're spending money you don't have, guess what? You better have a good time now, because there's some tough days coming. I don't know. I just wonder when that's not going to switch on us a little bit, where you're going to begin to see more administrations say, look, we're in a new era. So we're putting hard budget lines on certain things, and we're not paying coaches and what they're asking for. There are plenty of good coaches who will do it for less. We believe that. Put the pressure on me to find it. Doesn't work out, fire me. I think that's really what it gets down to. The whole self-preservation deal. So like I said, for a lot of these administrations and their negotiations with these agents, it's really clear to see who's got the stiff backbone in the whole thing, isn't it? And it's really clear to see. Joseph commented on Facebook and said, please go to Florida, Lane Kiffin. And then he signed it, Go Dogs. I know a lot of people feel that way. I know a lot of people feeling that way about it. So, in one way, it would kind of be on the we've escalated to the point that you got coaches making $10 million a year at schools to coach college football with 70, 80, 90, $100 million buyouts. If you fire them. I mean, Jimbo and guys like that, they don't ever have to do anything unless they just want to get bored. But it's certainly no financial issue, right? Like they're fixing to give, what was it? They're going to give Billy Napier $9 million. They got to hand him a check for $9 million over the next 30 days as a part of the buyout. Yeah. But you go away from that, figure out a way to have a good coaching staff and just pay them less. You can figure that out. Oh, well, you'll have a revolving door. Okay. Still, it will cost us less over 10 years. I don't know. I mean, you get a new roster every year anyway. Why not get a new coach every year? That would really be like going back in time. Speaking of that, the idea of going back in time. Hey, Beaver.
Hey, Matt Wyatt.
Happy Wednesday.
You too.
What do you think to yourself when I say this name to you? Okay, I'm going to give you the name of a real person, and all you got to do is just spit out the first thing that pops up in your head. Okay? No pressure here at all, by the way. It's not like it's a right answer. I'm just trying to pick your brain a little bit. Okay, Beaver, here is the name. Christopher Lloyd.
Back to the Future. Doc Brown.
Back to the Future and Doc Brown. That's all I had to say was Christopher Lloyd. In fact, Beaver, today is his birthday. Christopher Lloyd, who played Doc Brown on Back to the Future, born on this day in 1938. That man's old. So, a couple of questions for you, Beaver. Can you name anything else that Christopher Lloyd was in?
Let's see. I know he was in Piranha. And, I've seen him in some other stuff because I remember, because he's one of those where no matter what you see him in, well, if you're of our age, of course.
Right.
For me, no matter what you see him in, you can't get past Doc Brown.
Right.
You're not looking past that. So I've seen him in some other stuff, but I can't honestly remember the other stuff.
That's it. Well, and see, Scott texted in Taxi. That's what I think of. That would be. See, I asked you a question, Beaver. One that if somebody told me I couldn't say Taxi, I wouldn't be able to answer it. If somebody had said, hey, Matt, name something other than Back to the Future and Taxi that Christopher Lloyd was in, I couldn't tell you. That's the two things for me. But Taxi was you're younger than me, and Taxi was way before your time.
Yeah.
So
hey, here's a little Back to the Future side note.
Okay.
I had no idea that I had to go to the movies to see this. Just last Friday, went to the local theater.
Okay.
And randomly, I had no previous knowledge of this, but there's a poster in their lobby, and it says October 31st, Back to the Future, back in theaters.
Wait a minute. You're saying the Back to the Future is coming back to I can go have the theater experience and watch that classic movie in a theater at the end of this month?
Yeah, and that just snuck up on me. Why didn't we know about this? But
why?
Yeah, next Friday.
Why isn't it being advertised?
Exactly, because I haven't seen any commercials.
Is it the theater, Beaver, that has those really comfy chairs that recline and?
Yeah.
Oh. Let's go. Beaver, let's go back and watch it in the theater. to the future. What was that number again? 1.71.
1.21 gigawatts.
I couldn't remember. So Christopher Lloyd, a.k.a. Doc Brown, happy 87th birthday. Beaver, why don't movies have great scores like this anymore? They don't. The movies don't have good music scores like this anymore. What happened to the music industry, Beaver? Is it? Hey, you had a question earlier from Denzel. Wanted to know what you think about this AI craze, where the AI remakes classic songs into new songs.
Yeah, that's one thing that I don't like. That could happen to the music industry is because there's already a band, and it's been like this year. It was over the summer, I think. I can't remember the name of the band, but like they popped up out of nowhere. They ended up with like 400,000 followers on Spotify, and it wasn't a real band. It was AI.
Oh, man.
I will tell you, though, just like you said, the one song you heard, do you remember what it was?
No, I don't. It was an old classic rock song, like from the 60s, maybe early 70s. That AI had taken and turned it into like an R&B Motown song. It was really good, Beaver. It was really good.
Yeah, there's been a lot of stuff popping up with that AI on my YouTube, so I've been super curious lately. And yeah, like it's so weird. Like I saw last week, I saw a soul cover of Glycerine by Bush, a funk cover of Killing in the Name by Rage Against the Machine. There was a soul cover of Black Parade by My Chemical Romance. And I didn't want to like it, but it's really good.
I didn't want to like it. That's kind of how I felt about it. Neil Price is the one who showed it to me on his phone. And he and I both, because we're both oldies guys, old music guys, old heads. And we both were like, man, that's great. And Neil said, I'm telling you, if I was in my car, I'd be listening to it on 10 right now. It was that good. Hey, another actor who's having a birthday today, Beeve, Jeff Gold. Is it Goldblum or Goldblum?
Oh, Jeff Goldblum.
Yep, Jeff Goldblum, born on this day in 1952. Did I do that math right? Let's see. I think I said Christopher Lloyd. Yeah, he was born in 1938 on this day, so he's 87. All right. And so that would make Jeff Goldblum today 73. Happy 73rd birthday to Jeff Goldblum. When you think of Jeff Goldblum, you think of
Jurassic Park and Independence Day come to mind kind of simultaneously.
Yeah, okay.
Of course, The Fly.
The Fly, yeah.
But for me, Jurassic Park and Independence Day would be the first two that pop up.
Beaver, this just shows you where my level is. I also think of Will Ferrell impersonating Harry Carey on Saturday Night Live. Because that was Jeff Goldblum who was in that segment with Will Ferrell, pretending either to be interviewed or do the interview, when Will Ferrell, being Harry Carey, went, "Hey!"
I remember it.
"If the moon were made of cheese." And he says, "What, if you were a hot dog, would you eat yourself?" That was Jeff Goldblum who was in there with him. I always think of that. And let me just say, Beaver, did you ever go to the theaters and see the Wicked movie recently?
No.
No? Okay, I went and watched it with Mary Liddy and Annabeth, and I was thoroughly disappointed in the fact that Jeff Goldblum was the wizard in that stupid movie.
I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said it was stupid.
I didn't like this whole thing.
Well, get yourself ready because the sequel's coming soon.
Well,
and
I'm not
sure
going to
Mary
that.
Liddy's going to want to go take you to it.
I'm sure it was, but I'm not going to it. But see, here's the thing, Beef. You know what probably played a huge role in ruining the movie for me? Was seeing Wicked on Broadway in New York prior to the movie. Again, and it was within a year or two, very recently. It's like within the last 3 or 4 years when we were up there for one of Liddy's things in the summer, and we went and saw Wicked. And prior to that, Beaver, I promise you, when Annabeth started talking, we're going to get tickets to go see this thing called Wicked, I'm like, what is that? Didn't know what it was unaware, didn't really have a clue. It was a little dubious because I'm like, Wicked? We're going to go see something with our child called, quote unquote, Wicked. You know what I mean? Well, we went and saw the show on Broadway, and it's been going on forever, but gosh, it's just so incredible seeing that show in that kind of theater environment in person. It's like in the old days, Beaver, reading in the book and then a movie about it comes out and then you see the movie and you're disappointed because you read the book. That's kind of how I felt about that whole deal. Not to mention, all right, here I go. Beaver, give me 2 minutes for this little rant again, would you please?
Of course.
All the movies that are coming out now, of course, they are shot digitally. They're not shot on film, obviously, because it'd be super expensive. But they're shot digitally. And these production houses have colorists who are in charge of, processing and color grading these films. And they continue to put these over-edited, over-graded, super driven to the extreme color grades on these things where it's all a big wash, a big nasty looking wash of like the orange and teal look that they've been doing in Hollywood ever since they used to do the 2-strip films when they first came out with color. And digital can't replicate that. And the stuff they keep putting on the screen in front of you now looks terrible. It does not look good to the human eye. It doesn't look real. It doesn't represent the colors in real life, nor the contrast. Listen, Beaver, if you ever take a camera of any kind to make a video to display to anyone, whether you film it with your phone or whether you film it with a $60,000 cinema camera, just remember, would you, that in real life, the sun is bright. And in real life, nighttime is dark. Shadows are dark, lights are bright. It's all right to have some range in there, some dynamic range in there. Not everything has to be crunched down to a big gray blob on your TV screen for it to be, quote unquote, cinematic. I'm sick of that crap. It looked terrible. That was one of the worst things about the movie Wicked, was it looked terrible. Okay, I'm done. Was that 2 minutes?
It may have been over 2 minutes.
Shoot. I was trying
I'm
to
okay with it. I'm okay with it. You know what else looks terrible about Wicked is Ariana Grande's face. That is what bothered me from the very beginning.
Now, Beav, she may be listening.
Oh, it's okay. If she is, Ariana Grande, your face is looking weird. It's your own fault.
You know what she needs, Beef? Pumpkin spice Little Debbie oatmeal cream pie. A whole box of them. That'll do it.
Don't make me go out and try this because you kind of got me curious.
It's worth a try. And all I tried was the pumpkin spice oatmeal cream pie. I ate a whole box of them. And then you wonder why your belt's getting tighter. That's how out to lunch I am on that whole deal. I'm at a point in my life where my mind is just on other stuff all the time, other than, hey, how much better in shape did I get today? I don't ever think about that. So you almost, without thinking about it, over the course of a week, you eat a whole box of Little Debbie oatmeal cream pie, pumpkin spice fall flavor. And then 10 days later, you're like, man, what's wrong? Is this just an age thing? My belt's getting a little bit tighter. No! You ate a whole box of those things. That's what happens. So this, be advised, B. What was it you had recently? You ate the whole box? I can't remember what it was.
Oh, those were those cakesters. Oreo cakesters.
Yes, the Oreo cakesters. You said, I ate one. Next thing you know, the whole box gone. As if it just sort of happened. That's funny. Well, okay. Happy birthday to star from Back to the Future and Taxi and Jeff Goldblum. One of Hollywood's great weirdos. Happy birthday to him. This is a Wednesday show. It is a sports show. We had a whole hour of sports earlier, but we're going to get back on it because I have Bama fan here, Millwood, Scott, Earl, Denzel, Possum Neck Joe. Oh, yeah, I forgot. That's right. Somebody texted in and reminded us that Christopher Lloyd played uncle or cousin, uncle what? In Addams Family? Who, or grandpa? What character? He shaved his head? Well, he didn't shave it. He just... Fester, Uncle Fester. Fester. Thanks, Beeve. Addams Family. That's right. He was in that too. Great actor. 87 years old today. Possum Neck Joe said, don't do this anymore. It's depressing. It makes me feel old. We're old. Back after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Hey y'all, Matt Wyatt here. Each week on the Mississippi Outdoors Podcast, we talk with the people who live it. Hunters, biologists, game wardens, local celebrities, and storytellers that know Mississippi better than anyone.
Those bass come up there and attack them. You know how mean bass can be there.
You're never going to believe this. Matt Wyatt just talked about your deer on the radio. I said, what did he say? He said, it was Photoshopped. And I said, what?
They don't know anything about hunting. They just have never had that right, that freedom.
Dude, that's us, man. That's what we do. So tune in. Be inspired, and we'll see you outdoors.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Yeah. Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. Local agents in all 82 counties. So here's what that means. You have that fender bender, hopefully you don't, but let's say you do at an odd time. Something goes on. It's Saturday night at 11 p.m. You don't have to wait until Monday morning to call some 800 number and talk to someone 3 states away. You've got your agent's phone number right there on your phone because you go to church with him. Your kids go to school together. He lives right down the road. You see each other at the ball games on Friday nights. So it's personal with your local Farm Bureau insurance agent in all 82 counties in this entire state. And if anything does arise and you need to, run it up the chain or up the flagpole, the home offices for Farm Bureau Insurance are in Jackson, Mississippi. It's right here in the state of Mississippi. It doesn't get more local than and personal, the service that you get with Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. I can't recommend them highly enough. And if you haven't, recently, let them give you a quote. Home, life, auto. It's Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Well, look at what we have here. Christmas come early. Boom. Little green onion country pleasing. That's not all. Little original smoked sausage flavor. That's not all. Jalapeno and cheddar. It has to be one of my favorite, just judging by how much of that stuff I eat. Oh, can't forget. Andouille. Don't be saying andouille, it's andouille. And last but not least, pork and pineapple. Bun size, 3 links, bun size. Look at that right there. Be careful. Come on with it. It's mine. Come here, jalapeno. Oh, that's all mine. Country pleasing sausage. The Junction Deli's, convenience redefined, and Prince Oil Company, a match made in heaven. The Junction Deli, fueled by Prince Oil Company. Prince Oil Company has been fueling Central Mississippi since 1960. It's a pretty good little while. Wonderful people. Man, am I ever more tickled that they're a part of the show and I'm a part of their team now. As you know, if you listen to the radio show, I've been to the Junction in several different places around.
At thezone1059.com.
Back with you, I'm Matt. Oh, is that right? Okay. Jared also telling us that Christopher Lloyd has a birthday today. Was the bad guy in Dennis the Menace. Yeah, and played old tackle. That's right. Played Reverend Jim on Taxi. And he was, Jared says he was Al on Angels in the Outfield. You know, that's a movie I've never seen. Got to see that thing. Got to see that. we brought up Jeff Goldblum, and there was a bunch of comments all back to back on Facebook and on YouTube. Everybody going, the fly, the fly, the fly. And then one guy goes, the fly 2. Yeah, so he's in that one too. Got it. All right. Back here, y'all can be a part of the show. Comment on the live stream, YouTube, Facebook, X, formerly Twitter. Just drop a comment right there. And we'll get you in on the conversation that way. It's like, you know, it's like a remote way to be in on the conversation. It's just almost the same as if you were here where we are and you could just, you know, plop down at the table, you know, hand me your mug. I'll pour you some hot coffee there from High Point Roasters in New Albany, Mississippi. Go to highpointroasters.com. Tell them I sent you. I got, this is breakfast blend from High Point Roasters. Big 1-pound bags of coffee. That's what you get from them. So you're not going to run out anytime soon. That's good. You can get it already ground or whole bean, single origin from all over the world, or blends like this one. It's good stuff. Good old sound effects on the radio. You know, that's how the pros do it. Right? White Denzel texts the show. He said, when it comes to Christopher Lloyd, I think about him in Addams Family. He was Uncle Fester. And then he also mentioned Angels in the Outfield. Scott from Philly and Philadelphia. He says, tuned in late, but Reese's peanut butter cups are what make britches shrink. I agree. They makes your belt get tighter. Yeah, and we saw this. Somebody sent me a picture of it too. This is out there just in case this is your thing. They've got the Christmas tree cake coffee creamer now displayed in Walmart. So if you want Christmas tree cake coffee creamer, then head on out. It's that time of year. You know, it's not Halloween yet, or Thanksgiving for that matter, but sure, Christmas tree. Yeah. Merry Christmas, everybody. Crank up some Christmas tunes next week as you ride around to and from work. Well, no. Instead, let's crank up some headlines. Good
evening. I'm Ron Burgundy, and this is what's happening in your world.
Good evening, and welcome to Eyewitness News.
Here's what's making news.
Headlines on the show brought to you by the Mortgage Man Group, powered by Illuminate Bank right here in Mississippi. Find them online at mortgagemanms.com. That's mortgagemanms.com. Anything mortgage related, that's where you want to go. Buying, refinancing, whatever. MortgageManMS.com. Tell Went I said, hey, Went! My man. Headline number 1. The NFL is moving Pro Bowl festivities to the Tuesday of Super Bowl week. The NFL moving its Pro Bowl festivities to Super Bowl week beginning this February, the latest adjustment for the All-Star event that became a flag football game a few years ago. It's a big joke. The whole thing's a big joke. And to their credit, they realize it and they're trying to evolve it, move it around and figure it out and all that kind of stuff to make it something other than a waste of time. Nick Saban says college firings are a product of the pay-for-play era. You don't say. You don't say. Former Alabama coach Nick Saban said he isn't surprised by the recent string of high-profile firings in college football because fans and alumni who donate money to programs are more influential than ever, thanks to, now he didn't say this, but this is what they wrote, thanks to name, image, and likeness deals and revenue sharing. There have already been 9 in-season firings at FBS schools this year, including 6 at Power programs, Power 4 conferences. So let's see. Where's the quote? Here's a quote from Saban. Quote, I'm not surprised because everybody's raising money to pay players. So the people that are giving the money think they have a voice, and they're just like a bunch of fans. Saban said when they get frustrated and disappointed, they put pressure on the AD to take action, and it's the way of the world. So don't believe me. Don't listen to me. You don't have to listen to me. Just listen to Saban. He's saying the same thing. Things are changing. And then finally this. How about this? This is not the school I expected to get the first one of these. Texas A&M draws the SEC's first $50,000 fine for faking an injury. First one to get a fine for faking an injury. $50,000 fine. Now, that's a lot of money to me. What about you? Is $50,000 a lot of money to you? I mean, there's no right answer. It's just, it is what it is for you, for me. It is for me. I promise you it is for me. $50,000. Now, my question for you is that a lot of money for Texas A&M? Texas A&M was found in violation of the NCAA playing rules governing feigning injuries for a play in the fourth quarter of their 45-42 win at Arkansas on Saturday, in which defensive back Tyreek Chappell sat down on the field to stop the play after the ball had already been spotted. Well, listen, let me just, okay, this is our final headline here of our segment, brought to you by the Mortgage Man Group, powered by Illuminate Bank. But listen to me just a minute. I like the SEC. They've got smart people. But a team that is undefeated and chasing a playoff and a conference title and a championship on the road, and I'm talking getting driven to the wire, it's a 3-point win. A&M could not stop Arkansas. 45-42 3-point win was the final score. On the road by the hair of your chinny chin chin. And it's possible that a player faking an injury at one time could have actually helped them win this game by 3 points. It's possible. And you're telling me I'm supposed to believe that A&M looks at a $50,000 fine as punishment? A $50,000 fine for something that could have actually helped them to win a 3-point game on the road in the SEC as something that it is supposed to curb the activity? You're telling me you've come up with the idea, here's how we're going to keep people from faking injuries. we're going to fine the school $50,000. What do you think, if it helps them win a game and stay undefeated, what do you think it's worth to A&M? I'll tell you what it's worth. At least $50,000. Where do I sign on that check? Because we're happy to win by 3. In other words, let me just boil it down to you without all the dramatic stuff coming out of my mouth. Under no circumstance is any school afraid of a $50,000 fine for doing something that they deem might help them win a game. You hear me? And that goes for all 16 of them. Pour truth serum in their coffee and then ask them that question. Hey, there's something you can do that might actually help you win a close game at the end of the fourth quarter. If you do it, though, you will win, but it's also going to cost you $50,000. Do it every time. Under no circumstance, anyway, anyhow, is a $50,000 fine for faking an injury in the fourth quarter of a 3-point game going to keep any school from doing it. What are y'all thinking? What do you expect me to think as a, I don't know, everyday American with my feet on the ground? You expect me to think that as a Southeastern Conference, you really do want to stop them from doing it? Because I don't believe you. In fact, I'm telling you, every other coaching staff in the SEC looked at this and went, hold on just a minute. Let's really think this through. If we're in a close game, buddy, and we're out of timeouts, and we need to kick a game-winning field goal on the road at Florida with less than 30 seconds left, and we don't have any timeouts, and I could use some time to think this over and maybe run my kicking team out there, that I can flop and fake an injury and break the rule even though they spotted the ball, and the only thing it's going to cost me is $50,000? Hey, put it in the game plan. Make sure it's on the fourth quarter notes because we're using that if we need to. That is worth it. $50,000. And I'm supposed to believe that they actually want to stop people from doing it. All right. We're rolling along with you. A little bit of time left. When we come back, I'll get to your text from Will and Jason and Greg and Jared and 1980 and Denzel and all y'all. I'm Matt. In the Bureau. Stick around.
We'll be right back.
Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. Local agents in all 82 counties. So here's what that means. You have that fender bender, hopefully you don't, but let's say you do at an odd time. Something goes on. It's Saturday night at 11 p.m. You don't have to wait until Monday morning to call some 800 number and talk to someone 3 states away. You've got your agent's phone number right there on your phone because you go to church with him. Your kids go to school together. He lives right down the road. You see each other at the ball games on Friday nights. So it's personal with your local Farm Bureau insurance agent in all 82 counties in this entire state. And if anything does arise and you need to, run it up the chain or up the flagpole, the home offices for Farm Bureau Insurance are in Jackson, Mississippi. It's right here in the state of Mississippi. It doesn't get more local than and personal, the service that you get with Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. I can't recommend them highly enough. And if you haven't, recently, let them give you a quote. Home, life, auto. It's Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Well, look at what we have here. Christmas come early. Boom. Little green onion country pleasing. That's not all. Little original smoked sausage flavor. That's not all. Jalapeno and cheddar. It has to be one of my favorite, just judging by how much of that stuff I eat. Oh, can't forget. Andouille. Don't be saying andouille, it's andouille. And last, but not least, pork and pineapple. Bun size, 3 links bun size. Look at that right there. Whee! Be careful. Come on with it. It's mine. Come here, jalapeno. Oh, that's all mine. Country pleasing sausage. We'll be right back after this message from C Spire. My name is Matt Wyatt. I host the Matt Wyatt radio show out of my home using C Spire fiber.
And when we hit the road as a family, Matt's show goes with us, thanks to C Spire Wireless.
Its ultra-reliable nationwide network lets me broadcast live from anywhere.
And never miss a moment that matters.
Connecting you to what inspires you most on C Spire's blazing fast 5G network. And right now, get your choice of free phone. That's customer inspired. That's C Spire.
Y'all like coffee? I know you do. Check it out. Little High Point Roasters from New Albany, Mississippi. That is the breakfast blend. It's a whole bean. And if you notice, that's how much I've had already. Brazil Oberon. Not Orgeron or Orgeron, you LSU. No, Brazil Oberon. That ain't all. What we got there? What flavor is that? Papua New Guinea, grade AA. Bring it on. High Point Roasters, New Albany, Mississippi. Roast it right there. That's whole bean. One more. I got more. Ah, tried and true. Magnolia.
You're going to hear about them all and get to talk about it with Matt Wyatt right here, right now on the Zone 105.9 and worldwide at thezone1059.com.
All right, back with you. A little bit of time left with you here on this Wednesday. I had to think about it a minute. Mac in Vicksburg, he texted and said, to deter, make it $250,000 made payable to the opposing team's NIL. Right. Exactly, Mac. See, that's the thing. Like, you tell me as a conference, like, we're going to put in measures to motivate cheaters not to cheat. If you get caught, we're going to punish you. So we're going to put in measures to, if you're faking an injury, sort of going against the spirit of the game there, then we're going to put in measures to punish you so as to encourage you and motivate you not to do it. Well, you're telling me that one fake injury in the fourth quarter on the road in the SEC that could very well potentially help you win the game, a 3-point game on the road to preserve your undefeated season, and the fine's $50,000, they'll pay that happily for one extra timeout effectively. And nothing in the game punishes you. It's just later you got to write a check. I mean, you kidding me? So it's like, Mac, show me that you really do want to stop it from happening, because that ain't it right there. Robbie's pointing out, it's the same school, A&M. They paid their coach $75 million just to go away. It's absolutely a game plan. And I'm just telling you, Robbie, mark my words, we have seen a decline in the number of injuries and stoppages and stuff because it was made such a big deal out of it. And I'm sure they impressed upon administrations and staffs not to do it. But after everybody saw that and they're scratching their head going, okay, look, I understood. It sounded bigger, but you're telling me in a 3-point game. Again, let me give you a hypothetical. Put it on the sheet in the game plan fourth quarter notes. If we're out of timeouts, close game, got the ball, need a breather, need to get the field goal unit organized to run out there because we're out of timeouts maybe. Hey, get down, flop. It may cost us $50,000 on Tuesday, but who cares? Will, he said, $600K per season to guarantee 12 wins, stroke the check. Well, to guarantee, it's not going to guarantee the wins, but again, it guarantees you an extra timeout if you need it. So that, that's an intentional deal. For sure. Rebel Greg texted the show. He said, remember when Lane was run off by Saban because he was pursuing another job and Saban didn't want the distraction? What does Keith Carter do? That's an interesting deal. There's got to be a fine line in there somewhere, Greg. In reality, I don't think it's as simple as no. You don't take a hard stance on Kiffin at all. I mean, it is the nature of the business, and ADs know that. I mean, they've all been there. It's almost there's some professional courtesy, understanding. A guy may want to leave at some point, and other schools are going to want to talk to your coach if he's good. Okay, there's going to come a time when you yourself are going to want to talk to somebody's coach. Okay, and then, at the same time, see, but again, Greg, I think there's a lot that goes on working with the agent, in particular, Jimmy Sexton and his people, where, okay, you play nice with them and they're going to do what they do because they're going to do what they do anyway. And then they'll turn around and play nice with you because the next one you want probably is represented by them too. You see what I mean? So that's kind of how that's what's going on there. Jared texted and said, Coach is, quote unquote, retiring too, huh, Coach Saban? He knew he wasn't going to have a monopoly on talent anymore, and out he went. Well, yeah, and I think, there's some truth in that. But it doesn't change the fact that what he's saying about this deal with coaches is true. It is true. Billy texted and said, if the SEC wants to stop the fake injury stuff, take the $50,000, double it for the next school, and so on after that. $50K, $100K, $200K, $400K, etc. Sooner or later, somebody's going to get the memo. You're saying across the league, like if you're the second one in the league to do it, it goes up for you? So then it'd be a race to be first and cut your losses. It'd be my only thing. But I guess what you're saying is for everybody, a second offense, a third offense, it keeps getting more expensive each time. Yeah. Maybe that's the deal there. Land Rebel said it won't be money that makes Lane leave. It'll be if he truly believes he can't win a national championship at Ole Miss. Yeah, see, and that's the other thing too, Land Rebel. People that are in that walk of life are competitive by nature. Like they're kind of born that way, right? They're born competitive. Then that competitiveness grows and just gets fed and fed and fed. Right? And then as you go up the ladder in the sports, whether it be as a player or a coach or whatever, every step of the way, everything in your whole world feeds your ego on top of that too. They all have a certain measure of ego. That's just the way it is. And so a coach, the guys who drive themselves to the point of reaching that rung of the ladder, their competitiveness is usually off the charts. If you notice something, Land Rebel, many, 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 many of them were guys that didn't get to play enough football. And at some point, that hunger for it, and without that being satisfied to get to play enough football, it drives them into coaching, and man, here they go. And so the competitiveness and the ego and the, all of that just grows into this big monster in a lot of them's head and heart. It does. Okay. And so that's why I always throw my hand when I'm talking about a coach and what he may or may not do. I usually a lot of times throw my hands up and go, okay, there's a point where I can't understand it really because that's not me. And because me, and you may be the same way, Land Rebel, we might look at it and go, there's less than 3 million people in the entire state of Mississippi. Okay, so one, you never have to deal with traffic. 2, there's all kinds of great, big, huge swaths of land that's great land, and it's for sale. You can be all by yourself all the time if you want. You know, like, okay, there's that. Hunt, fish, golf, any off season, whatever you want to do. Okay, and maybe the town you're living in is a little bit smaller town, but that's a good thing. That's actually a good thing. Safe place. Right? And on top of that, if I win 9 games or 10 games for the rest of my career, I will always have this job. I'll always get raises. They'll build a statue and put my name on it. That'll be cool for my grandkids when I'm dead and gone. You see what I mean? But here's the deal, Land Rebel. that competitive hunger that just all it ever does is grow, and the ego grows along with it. It doesn't think that way. It doesn't think that way. And, you know, they've all got a finite amount of time they're going to coach anyhow. At some point, they're all going to hang it up. And they know that. So there's some things that go into it sometimes that we don't, necessarily understand. I was impressed with Florida's fan support. And I guess you would think that. I mean, they're all in. Lots of them. Humongous fan base. Alumni base. Recent national championships. Basketball, another way. Recent national championships, football, 3 Heisman Trophy statues right outside their stadium. I mean, that's what we're talking about there. 80, 90,000 seat stadium, whatever you want to call it. But, with what they've gone through, with where they were this year, and I'm sitting there, it's before kickoff, and they weren't all in the stadium yet. I was going, there's some empty seats in here. Shoot. Halfway through the first quarter, it was full, packed out, and they were into it. I was impressed with their stadium and atmosphere, considering there's going into that game against State is a 2-win football team about to fire their coach, and everybody knew it. All right. That will wrap it up for today. I'm Matt in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Farm Bureau, go with the home team. For Beaver and all of us here on the show, we'll see you tomorrow. See you then. See ya.